Hello, I'm Josie Bruno. I am a photographer, primarily a wedding photographer. I'm based in Nashville, Tennessee. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am going to be sharing with you today my tips on how to get into weddings. If you already have an established photography brand or business, no matter how big or small, but you haven't done weddings and you would like to get into weddings and you're like, girl, how do I do it? Who's gonna trust me to shoot a wedding when I've never shot a wedding before? That is a very good question, and I had the same question. So I'm just gonna tell you my story and how I made it happen. Basically, when I decided that I wanted to get into wedding photography, I was like, all right, no one is going to let me be a wedding photographer for their wedding if I've never shot one in my life, because people need to see the proof that you're not gonna mess up their perfect day, you know? So since I had never done that before, I decided to do a mock-up shoot of one of my friends in bridal wear. I know a lot of people host styled shoots where you can go and buy a ticket to go to this like curated styled photo shoot to take pictures of models dressed up as a bride and groom. That's also a great option if you want to get practice editing wedding style photos, but it's not a great option if you don't have any money to pay for those tickets because they ain't cheap. I'm not saying they're a bad idea. If you have the money to invest in them, do it. But I personally did not have $200, $300, $400 to spend shooting. So instead what I did was I enlisted one of my friends named Hannah, who I love so much, to go on the hunt for a wedding dress at a thrift store or something. As soon as she found that, we put together a photo session here in Nashville at a disc golfing course because my fiance plays disc golf. I know a lot about the disc golf community here, and I knew of this one disc golf course that was really beautiful in the summer, and I was like, okay, we're just gonna go out on this disc golf course and pretend like this is your wedding day. So we went out there and we took these photos, and that was the first time I ever shot someone in a wedding dress, and I was like in love with the vibes. From there, I took these photos and I started advertising, hey, I will do your wedding for $500 if someone will just let me do their wedding. Here's an example of some of the work that I've done. I also attached some work that was non-wedding related to these ads that I would make. When you're really first starting out and you have no mentors and no one to help you and no one to give you a leg up, you gotta do what you gotta do. So ultimately, how I ended up getting my first wedding was I was in a Facebook group for my local neighborhood area. I saw a woman posting that she was looking for a photographer for her daughter's micro wedding. It was literally 3 hours, and I did it for $500. I sent her the pictures I did with my friend in her wedding dress, and I sent her other portfolio photos of mine, and I was totally transparent. I was like, look, you need an inexpensive photographer. I need an opportunity to slay this because I know I can do it, and if you will give me the opportunity, I will do it for $500 and you will not be disappointed. And she said yes, and that shit changed my life. I was able to shoot my first wedding. It was low pressure because it was only 3 hours. It was a micro wedding at a chapel, and I really did kill it. And I will also show y'all some of those photos from my first ever wedding. From there, I decided that I would be able to start second shooting for bigger weddings for established wedding photographers. So with that very first wedding, I took those edited images plus the photos of my friend Hannah that I did on the disc golfing course, and I created a little Wix website, and I joined photography groups for the Nashville area and Tennessee in general. I'm in groups on Facebook where people are constantly posting like, looking for a second shooter for this date, this is the pay rate, blah, 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 blah. And I was always commenting on every single one that I saw, like posting my pictures, posting my website, hey, I'll do it. And there was this really wonderful woman named Nina, and she last minute got booked for a wedding in North Carolina in Sugar Mountain. And she was like looking for a second shooter. It was very last minute, and pretty much no one that she knew was available. And I saw the post and I was like, hey, I know you're desperate. I really, really want to be a wedding photographer. Please give me a chance. I will do it. And at the time, I was working in an office job from 7 to 4 every day and crying on my lunch break because I hated it. And I remember sitting at my desk at that office job and Nina sending me a message on Facebook, and she was like, listen, happy to give you the opportunity. I can't pay you as much as I would normally pay a second shooter because you just don't have the experience. But if you want to do it and you're down for the 4.5 hour drive, then let's do this thing. And I said, hell yes, okay? I drove all the way to Sugar Mountain, North Carolina with one freaking headlight on my car, ended up showing up in the dark, driving onto a campsite. It was quite the adventure. Because Nina gave me a chance, I finally got not a reel, the first one was real, but I finally got like a big full-scale wedding in my portfolio, and I have to say it was one of the best experiences ever, and I just can't thank her enough for the opportunity that she gave me, because she took a chance on me and I didn't do a perfect job. I was in charge of taking photos of the groomsmen, and I didn't know that much about f-stop at the time, and some of the photos were kind of blurry, and I'm like, sorry girl, but luckily she is a badass and she was able to use some of the photos anyway. And she also was so sweet and was like, listen, if you have any questions, I will answer them. And she actually made me feel really good about asking questions, and I didn't feel stupid. I didn't even own like a nice camera at the time. I was still shooting on the Canon Rebel T6 that I got refurbished years ago. And I rented a camera through Lens Rentals, who I highly recommend, so that I could have like a better camera for the shoot. That couple was gorgeous, and I'll also show you guys some photos from that wedding. Anyway, because of that, I once again had one more thing on my portfolio for second shooting, and I was able to use those photos to get my very first like full-size wedding booked on my own. And I also had a ton of second shooting opportunities because of that. So now here I am. I have many of my own weddings, also still second shoot for other people. How to get into weddings, let's recap here. Number 1, do a mock-up wedding session, whether that be your own staged thing or buying a ticket to a styled shoot. Number 2, use those photos to advertise your work and start looking for opportunities to second shoot for other photographers. And then number 3, take those photos and start advertising your wedding services. That's it. Thanks so much for tuning in to this little video. I will be posting here hopefully every week, maybe every 2 weeks, depending on life. But yeah, so see you guys next time. Please subscribe and follow me. You can also find the link to my social media and my website in the description. Thanks. Bye.